For the last video in our two-step equation series, we're going to talk about some word problems. But before we get to actually translating and solving our word problems, there's a few reminders that I wanted you to be aware of. Switcheroo words are going to come back into our translating. So in case we forgot them, they are from, than, and to. To is spelled T-O, not the number 2. Is, are, was, were, has, have, will be, and other variations all mean the same thing. They mean equal. There's a lot of words that mean something is equal to something else. Now that we have those reminders, we're actually going to look at how to solve equations from a word problem. The first step is to actually identify your variable. What is the question asking you for? Our second step is to use an equation that fits the word problem. So you're going to have to translate the word problem into an equation. Once you do that, you can solve your equation and then answer the question. Don't forget to put your units on your answer. We're going to work through some together. The first one says, Jake can shoot 4 less goals than Paul. If Jake shot 8 goals, how many did Paul shoot? So we need to translate this into an equation. So the first thing we do is read the first sentence and translate that. So Jake can shoot, so we have Jake equals 4 less goals than, so than is a switcheroo word. So we want to write Paul first and then the 4 less than part. So less than means subtract, so we're going to do Paul minus 4. But then it tells us that Jake shot 8 goals. So we don't need 2 variables in our equation. We know how much Jake shot. He shot 8. So instead of J, I'm going to replace it with an 8. Now we have an equation that actually helps us solve the question. The question was, how many did Paul shoot? Well, P stands for Paul, so we can solve our equation and answer that question. So it is a one-step equation. All we have to do is get rid of the minus 4 as our constant, so we're going to add 4 on both sides. When we do that, we get Paul is equal to 12. So that means Paul shot 12 goals. And we want to put our units on our answer. For our second word problem, it says, it costs $2.55 to rent bowling shoes. Each game costs $3.50. You have exactly $15. How many games can you play? So if we're looking at our variable, it's what we're trying to find. They're trying to figure out how many games someone can play for $15. So x is going to be our number of games. To solve for x, or the number of games that we can play, we need to figure out how much it's going to cost us. Well, we know that it costs $2.55 to rent bowling shoes, so we're going to start with that in our equation. And that's a one-time fee, so it's just $2.55, just one time the whole night. So then we know that each game costs $3.50. So on top of $2.55, we're going to have to add $3.50 times x, because each game is going to cost that amount. So we have to pay it however many times we play a game. And we're going to set that equal to $15 because you can't spend more than $15. That's how much you have. So then we're going to have to solve our two-step equation. $2.55 is our constant, so to undo it, we're going to subtract since it's a positive $2.55. And remember, we have to do it to both sides of our equation. So when we do it to the left side, those cancel out, and I have $3.50 times the number of games is equal to $12.45. Now we just have our coefficient that we need to undo. It's being multiplied times x, so we're going to undo it by dividing. When we divide, our $3.50 cancel out, and we have x is equal to a decimal. Our decimal is 3.557, and it keeps going, but 3 decimal places is good enough. If we're thinking about how many games can someone play, well, since it's 3.557, that means they can definitely play 3 games, but if they tried to play 4 games, they wouldn't have enough money. We can't round up in this situation. So we're going to have to round down so that we can make sure we can afford to play all these games. So it's going to be 3 games. On the top of the back page, we have one more to do together, and it says Joanne had to pay an electrician to fix something in her home. He charged a service fee of $65 just to look at the problem, and then he charged $30 per hour to fix it. If the total was $170, how many hours did he work? So we're trying to figure out how many hours. So what we're going to do is set up an equation, right? So he charged $65 plus he also charged $30 per hour. Per means to multiply, so we're going to do 30 times H. And then the total was 170. So we're going to set it equal to 170. Now we have a two-step equation that we can use to solve for how many hours he actually did work. So we're going to subtract 65 from both sides. And we get 30H is equal to 105. Then we need to get rid of our coefficient of 30. So we're going to divide both sides by 30 since it's being multiplied times H. When we divide by 30 on both sides, we get H is equal to 3.5. So the electrician worked for 3.5 hours. At the bottom of this page, there are some word problems for you to try on your own. Please get them checked when you are ready.